right, y'all. We are back on the Oshay Blogcast channel. I'm your host, Oshay Duke Jackson. And joining me for the second straight week is the lovely Rashida Strober, the dark-skinned activist. How you doing, Rashida?
I'm doing great. How you doing? Thank you for having me back again.
Oh, yeah, we had it cracking last time. I checked the YouTube analytics, our last interview, over 100,000 watch time minutes. So people was very interested in what you had to say. Yeah. So,
that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and this is a new channel, so it's very powerful. Rashida, you are no stranger to controversy, and neither am I. Me and you are probably some of the most controversial Black YouTubers that have been on the site maybe in the last few years. But one thing that you disagree with is censorship. Talk to me about what you feel about censorship and how it's affected you.
Right, absolutely. First of all, let me preface this with saying a lot of people don't know my academic background. And it's the way I feel is really informed by my academic background. I have a bachelor's degree in history and a master's degree in political science. And I also taught American national government at the college level for about 2 years. And so, of course, if you're teaching American national government, you're dealing with the Constitution. You're dealing with the Bill of Rights. The First Amendment guarantees us the rights to freedom of speech. And I will give this disclaimer. I want to just say this. The only time that I feel this whole, we got this whole flagging campaign going on. The only time I feel that a YouTuber's channel, I don't care what race they are, should be taken down is if that person is inflicting or threatening to inflict bodily harm or violence on someone. If a person is not doing that, you should not be trying to take that person's channel down just because you don't like what they have to say about you. Going back to me, I came on the internet, I brought dark-skinned activism onto the internet. And since that time, so many things have happened. I'm probably one of the most attacked, I would say in the top 5 attacked Black women to ever hit the internet. And throughout that whole time, and I can tell you right now, I have received detailed legal advice from people over the years. This was dating back to 2014 on how to sue a certain individual that people saw as defaming me. And never once did I entertain the thought of doing that. Because here's the thing, the right to freedom of speech, number one. Number two, I'm the one that chose to come online and speak about dark-skinned activism, speak about my experience as a dark-skinned Black woman. I chose that. If you're coming online and you're speaking about any topic, you're not going to have everybody jumping on your bandwagon. You're going to have the pros and the cons. So you know this going in, if you have any intelligence, in which I'm pretty sure that these people, they're intelligent. They realize this. And so, like I said, I never flagged anybody's channel. The people that don't like people, if you go on YouTube right now, there's so many videos that people have made about me. I've never flagged their channels because they have a right to express what they think about what I'm saying. That's their right. Just like I have a right. If I don't like it, I can come back on there and I can rebut it. I can come on to forums like yours and talk about it. We can all do that. I feel that it contributes to the intellectual discourse if we are able and willing to come and say, okay, this person is saying this about me. Let's analyze this. Let's get both sides of the story. Now, if there's some type of campaign like that where we're talking about reconciliation or we talking about doing a sit down, I'm all for that. But flagging someone's channel because you disagree with what that person has to say about you, aside from disclaimer, long as that person is not saying that they're going to do something to you to inflict violence on you, that's insane. It makes no sense. I will not jump on that bandwagon. I cannot. I can't do it.
You're very educated, more so in history and political science and the Bill of Rights. I know that I am. I know on the internet we're dealing with a topic of hate speech against particular protected groups. In protected groups, obviously, people have been historically oppressed, or people who have a certain type of sexuality preference. And then many people will argue, Black women are a protected group. And if you talk about Black women in a in the way that is defaming, that's hate speech, and therefore YouTube or any other entity should not deal with such hate speech. What do you say to people who have that sort of vernacular?
I say it's all subjective, and I say that everything is arguable based upon people going and making their arguments based on the law. So if you really feel that way, what you would have to do, one of the things that you can do, because this stuff is subjective, even the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, our rights, it's all subjective. It can all be changed at the drop of a dime. I mean, we can reverse it. We can say Black men are protected groups. And what some Black women or people, not just Black women, people in general, are saying about Black men is defaming. And then Black men can say, let's go file a class action lawsuit. Let's go take this to some federal court. I mean, Black men can do the exact same thing and frame the argument in the exact same way as people who are saying that Black women are among a protected class. We are all a protected class. And that's the argument that I have. As a protected class, why are we trying to censor each other? Why? I mean, we are infringing upon each other's rights. There's a book. It's called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. I don't know if you, his name is on, the author's name is on the tip of my tongue, but the book is called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. And he talks about, in this book, the psychology of oppressed people and how there's infighting. When they're oppressed and, you know, they're discontented, they take out their anger on each other. You know, they don't deal with the real issue of oppression from the actual source that's causing it. They say, we're gonna fight each other. I mean, that's, if you look at conflicts around the world, like civil wars, for example, the civil war in Sierra Leone. The civil war in Sierra Leone lasted for about 10 years. In my humble opinion, it was outside influences that caused the civil war. But you had the infighting going on between the people in the country because of all the frustration. It's the same dynamic that's going on with Black men and Black women. So the question is, why are we not coming together and talking to each other about this? Why are we trying to further oppress each other? It makes no sense. And let me speak for myself. I, as a Black woman, I know that some of the things that Black men on YouTube are that you're saying, it's true. I've heard, I have 5 brothers. Hello, I don't have no sisters. I mean, I listen to them. It's common sense. I mean, I just think that some of us are not being honest. And disclaimer, I might say this throughout this talk. I am not referring to people who want to inflict bodily harm. I do not advocate for that. It's unacceptable. Get their channels off YouTube. And that's anybody, not just Black men, anybody. Okay. But the thing is, a lot of the stuff that the Black men are saying, let me just say this as well. I also feel, not that I feel, I know, because see, I've actually done my activism on the ground level. I worked in Black community organizations, and I've protested and marched and fought on campaigns to release Black males from prison, police brutality, all that. I've done it. Okay, shout out to the Uhuru Movement Chairman Omali Ashitela. Shout out to all of them. Okay, let me tell you something. I know firsthand, and I've seen firsthand, the disenfranchisement of Black males. We cannot deny this. I worked in the school system. I've seen it. I remember when I was substitute teaching one time at this school that was an alternative school, and the majority of the students there were Black males. This one Black male, he stole my purse. He did, and he took me through the motions. Like, we had to go look all over that school for that purse. But when the police officer asked me, he said, "Do you want this young man taken to jail?" No. We deserve, I feel that Black males deserve a chance to speak their piece. They deserve a chance to be heard, a chance to have a second chance, And if you are a Black woman, that you gotta look at yourself and say, what is going on here with me? What is my problem? It's some issues going on. I know I'm talking. Let me be quiet. Let you.
No. I'm enjoying it.
I'm just saying, like, I was not about, this young man had already, he just recently got out of some type of juvenile jail. And I have studied, I know what goes on in juvenile detention. I've worked there, I see it. To me, it's a question of his humanity. It's a question of, it was a question of giving this young man a chance. Why would I continue to exacerbate the problem instead of trying to deal with the problem? So I said, no. We sat down and we talked to him. I talked to him. The police officers talked to him, and we had a discussion. And I think that had more of an impact. I don't know what happened with that young man now, but in my humble opinion, I think that had more of an impact than putting him in handcuffs and hauling him off the jail. No, that is not the answer. And I feel that the censorship campaign is tantamount to that. I mean, we can make that comparison. Taking y'all mouths, putting y'all mouths in cuffs, and hauling y'all off the jail through silencing y'all. Like, it's insane to me. I and understand, I'm not sitting up here saying that I agree with the content of what has been said in terms of disparaging Black women. That's not the issue to me. The issue to me is censorship and silence. I don't have to agree with you to sit down and have a conversation with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I was one of those people who made a not so nice video about you.
And I never flagged your video, and I never would do that, because that's you can have your opinion about me all day and all night. I brought dark skin activism to the internet. Am I so dumb and foolish to think that people are not going to critique it? That's it. That's crazy. If I think that, I might as well just go back in, my academic hole and write my books and go teach school and do it. No, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to make an impact on the people by doing that. I make more of an impact on the people by coming out and allowing the people to critique whatever it is I am presenting to the public. Mm-hmm. That's how you make the impact.
Let me ask you this, Rashid, because I mean, obviously a lot of women do not think it's rational. Hold on a second. Is that me? Or is that you?
It's quiet over here.
Okay, maybe it's Alek. Thank you for the donation of $10 from the Negro Manosphere, which is funny because the Negro Manosphere is my site, but somebody made up a page called the Negro Manosphere and gave $10. Appreciate you.
Oh, wow.
Super chat. I guess what I want to know is this. You've seen firsthand what goes on in the community as an educator, as an activist. What is it that you think that Black women want to hide as far as information? What is it that they don't want the public to know that Black men may know, in your opinion?
I don't know if it's a question of, and here's the thing, I'm not the primary speaker. I don't want to be the person that's speaking for Black women, because we all have our separate thoughts and ideas. Mm-hmm. But overall, looking at YouTube and looking at how YouTube has created a platform for anyone in the world to come on and speak their views and their opinions, what it's done is created a situation where Black people are airing out the dirty laundry about each other. Mm-hmm. That's what's going on. I mean, people have said, I air out the dirty laundry about the dark skin issue with dark skin activism. And so I think that that's the issue. I think that some people, it's almost like with rap music, where, people will be upset with rappers for using a disparaging remark about women. And I've heard rappers say, well, if it doesn't apply to you, then you shouldn't be upset. I think that some of us just don't want our dirty laundry to be aired out. I think that some of us want to only be presented in the best light, to be seen in a positive way. And I understand that. I understand the rationale behind that, because you have young girls, young boys that are coming up, that are watching you. A lot of us have children. I get that. But going back to history, in history, if anyone that has studied history knows that there is the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's not a straight line. That's not how it goes. It's like this. It's up and down. And so I think that we have to move away from some of us also have been so psychologically broken down by the stereotypes. I'm not going to deny the stereotypes. I, as a dark-skinned woman, suffer from those stereotypes. But I think that we can't be afraid for people to come out and say, this is wrong with the Black woman, or this is wrong with the Black man, because that's how we get to a solution. If you continue to sweep over the problem or put a bandage over the problem and not get at what is causing the wound, it's not going to heal. That's the fatal mistake that we are making. So some of us, yes, we just simply don't want our dirty laundry to be aired. We want to be viewed in a good light because we know it impacts, you know, our daily life. It impacts education, our jobs. It impacts how we are just seen in general. I get that. But again, we cannot be afraid of correction. We cannot be afraid of constructive criticism. We cannot be afraid of alternative views. We cannot be afraid to look at those things and deconstruct it and say, okay, analyze, does this really apply to me? We can't be afraid to ask those questions. Mm-hmm. And so I think that that's where we're making a mistake by not wanting certain issues to be presented or certain things to be said. And keep in mind here, I'm not talking about people that are wanting to inflict violence. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people that are actually critiquing whoever. We need to take a look at that and say, is this going on? That's the lesson. By flagging the channels of these Black men that these women don't agree with, I mean, I think that even young people, because this is going to go down in history, 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, someone is going to be studying the history of I don't know, Black male censorship on YouTube. It could be a college course. I've taught college courses, okay? Mm-hmm. Someone's going to study that, make no mistake. And that person is going to critique it from all angles, especially if they're an academic. So why not do that now? Why not leave that legacy to say, you know what, at least this person did this and that person did this. And if you just can't come to a meeting of the minds, which I believe we can come to a meeting of the minds, even if we disagree, then, you know, you take further action from there. But we cannot be afraid. What I'm saying is the fear of being critiqued, the fear of being dissected and broken down. Mm-hmm. And that's the issue.
Let me now that you mentioned that, because one thing that I will say, now, Black men, we are not also perfect. I'm a big Black male critic. I have hundreds of videos critiquing Black men, and I have heard other Black men critique Black men. One guy in particular, David Carroll. I don't know if you ever heard of him before. You ever heard of David Carroll before?
I haven't.
David Carroll is 95% of his content is talking shit about Black men. So, and I mean to say that because Black men do not have a tough time criticizing one another. That's one thing that we can do. We can do it not from a point of view of, let's say, I'm hating on you, but listen, you know, brothers, this is what we're doing wrong, and you know, it's messed up. Now, Black women have no problem critiquing Black men, which when they critique Black men, some of the things, I mean, a lot of things that they have to say, I mean, I couldn't disagree with all of it. I have to, you know, be honest. What I have solved, though, is Black women have a hard time, one, critiquing each other. You would hardly hear it. And you damn sure will get an outrage if Black men critique Black women. And I understand also if Black women critique other Black women, it's almost like they are shunned, or they are pushed off or silenced. Or it's like they committed a treason against the sisterhood. Have you seen that? I mean, in your personal life, in your activist life, what I'm talking about here, does this ring a bell at all?
Yeah, it does, because to be honest with you, since I brought dark skin activism onto the internet, I have not focused on Black women. I mean, I would say 98% of my focus has been directed towards Black men in terms of bringing the Black man back to Black women, and specifically bringing Black men back to dark skinned women in balanced numbers. So within doing that, I've gotten a lot of flack from Black women who have sent me messages, some of them have cursed me out. And I ignored it for a long time. I just continued to focus on, I'm the type of person, once I'm on a mission and I focus on something, I'm laser sharp on that. So I did not pay that any attention because my focus was, Black men and what I had to say to them in terms of me being a dark-skinned woman. So I myself did not speak on Black women or even critique or talk about the Black women who were attacking me for my views. I left them out for a long time. The reason why I'm starting to talk about it at this point is because you literally can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. And I've gotten calls from some Black women tagged on Facebook from some Black women who they make the assumption that because I have said what I've had to say to Black men, that I am going to jump on board with the censorship campaign. And it's incorrect. So in that sense, I've almost been forced to come out and give my position on some of the things and speak on some of the things that these women have actually done to me over the years, because I've never addressed it up until 2017. I mean, I might have made a few videos on YouTube and sprinkled it and talked a little bit about it, but my focus had always been a Black man. But so, I had to come out and say, hey, look, these Black men, they're not flagging my channel. They never, even the ones that disagree with me, even the ones that made videos about me, in my mind, I'm creating a dialogue, and that's exactly what I want to do. I want to create a dialogue, whether the dialogue comes out in a way that, like you take off on an airplane. I heard somebody make this analogy. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Les Brown or somebody. Anyway, how a plane takes off and it's turbulent at first, but eventually you get to a smooth landing. That's how it goes. That's how it goes with activism or any type of movement. It's not going to be all sunshine. So the thing is, in this walk, I have to now come out and say, look, I cannot support these women in the censorship campaign. And some of you all have been mean to me. You have been rude to me. You have a lot of them have followed me on social media and, like I said, cursed me out. They have attacked me, and I just never said anything about it because, again, my mission was always the Black man. And in my head, I'm thinking, let's bring us together. That's always what I was thinking. So I wasn't thinking about it in terms of, oh, let me just go over here and start beefing with my sister, or let me go over here and make a video about. I've never done that. But I have to draw the line. Excuse me one second. But I have to draw the line when you want me to jump on a campaign to silence people whom I'm trying to create a dialogue with. So I feel it's only right for me to come out and speak about this and say, yes, some Black women have to be corrected. They have to be corrected, and some Black women need to correct Black women. We need to do that. It's all a part of the growth. It's all a part of the growth. And that's something that this whole flag campaign has literally forced me to deal with. Literally thinking back to all the attacks that I received from, I had this one woman, she followed me all over social media, cursed me out, threatened me. I mean, she would not stop. So I mean, this whole thing about being attacked is nothing new. And I do think that Black women need to be able to correct other Black women. There has been Black women who have corrected me, and I appreciate them for that because they made me better. And I think we need to be setting an example for the young girls that's coming up, that you're not going to always be right. Everybody has a part in the solution. Everyone.
Okay, and I really thank you for giving a very good show. I mean, excellent show so far. I really appreciate you. We're going to continue. Everybody, if you're in the chat, what I need you to do is to hit like on the video. I see Oshay Goddess from the community in the chat, so shout out to her. Shout out to Attorney Mom, James Nash, KNTN. I got 118 watching.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this is at like almost 12 or 1 p.m. maybe in the East Coast, so people not even off of work yet, so they're tuning in at work. So let's go ahead and get the likes up, people. Thank you for liking. I see High Def, Melit, Neutrina, Charwilly moderating. So let's keep get the likes up on the video for those. Thank you for we got a $2 donation in the super chat from the brother Yardley Moyes. Appreciate you. Shout out to Patterson, New Jersey. She says you're beautiful, Rashida.
Thank you.
We got some brothers in there trying to take you to Denny's, girl.
We don't do no Denny's now. No.
Okay, maybe
Denny's. But thank you. We can't go to Denny's.
Okay, let's go ahead and get the like. Daddy, what's going on? That's my man right there. Always support. Wesley Butts, what's going on? You get the likes up on the video. Listen, I gotta ask you this question, Rashida, and this is not to be messy, because you said that they have, Black women have done some things to you. Now I know that you got chased around social media, but what other types of things have Black women done with regards to your opinion to censor you?
In terms of the censorship, I would just say it's really been like a lot of just harassing and stalking on social media. It's literally just what I said. Getting emails, getting Facebook messages, on articles. You know how some of the articles that you write, people can go and comment on it. Mm-hmm. I mean, people coming on your YouTube videos. And here's the thing. This is very important. I'm an open person. I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to the president. Let's sit down and have a conversation. I have always let these people know, these women, men, but specifically we talk about women right now. I've always let these women know that if they want to speak to me live, like how me and you are doing right now, showing our face about my issues and, challenge me on anything, rebut me on anything, I was always willing, and to this day, I'm always willing to do just that. Even the women that have came onto social media and have cursed me out and called me everything but a child of God, I have always been willing to talk to them, debate with them, discuss with them live, showing my face. Mm-hmm. And what I can tell you right now is what a lot of these women would like to do, in my experience, they don't want to do that. Because if they did, then you would see it. You would see me conversing with different Black women on YouTube, on social media. Some of these women have made videos about me, like you made a video about me. I reached out to you. We're here talking. Same thing. I've continuously made myself available. But what they refuse to do, a lot of them, they refuse to sit down and talk about the disagreement. They don't want to do that. They would rather make videos or come onto my comment section, or, like I said, email me, or go make posts on Facebook. They would rather deal with it indirectly. And I think that is the problem. We're not going to.
Let me ask you, though, because you actually made this before I could even make a point. You almost read my mind. There's a YouTuber in the Black manosphere, in the Black portion of YouTube. His name is Obsidian, the radio podcast, or Obsidian Media Network. Have you heard of him before? Obsidian Media Network? I've
heard of him briefly, but I've never listened to it, and I don't know anything about it. So,
okay, Obsidian Media Network is one of those guys who wants to debate. And I'm not saying everybody, but he wants. Come on, let's sit to the round table and discuss our differences. And I mean, he's that kind of guy. And in all fairness, he's a guy that will do something like that. But what I've noticed is that outside of you, many Black women will not do what you are doing right now, which is putting their ideas out there for whatever reason. And I want to know, because you mentioned that they won't do it, and I know that, but why don't you think they will do it? Why won't Black women come to the table those who are out here flagging, those who are, why won't they come and put out their ideas like you're putting them out?
I mean, I can only guess. I'm not in their minds and their hearts. I'm not there. I can only guess. I mean, it could be a myriad of reasons. I mean, some may just be fed up. To them, they may just be, I'm tired of hearing all this disparaging stuff about me. Some may be going through, different situations in their life, different tragedies, maybe divorce. I don't know. It could be so many things that affect whether or not a person wants to deal with a situation head on. Some of them may not like, they may have had bad experiences with Black men, and they may have just given up. They may have just said, I don't want anything else to do with these Black men. I'm done. There's nothing to talk about. Some of them may be hurt. Sometimes Black women, because we have this whole thing about the strong Black woman, where you can't portray or reveal your hurt and your pain and your sensitivity. Some of them may not want to put that out there. They may not be strong enough to handle what comes along with when you come and you talk to someone. I remember when I was on Tommy Sotomayor, everybody and their mama, they was just blasting me. I was like, oh, hey, this is what it is. This is what it is. I'm just the type of person, I don't care. It's about impact rather than approval. Mm-hmm. Like, you can have whatever opinion, but every woman is not built like that. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, those could be some of the reasons. And then, some Black women, they get to a certain position in their life and they feel that I don't know. My father, he was the head of the household. Mm-hmm. When he got married to his wife, and I saw their interaction, she respected him, he respected her, and they just had this nice ebb and flow. And I saw that, and she respected him as the man, and she had her role to play, and he stayed in his lane. And some Black women, with this whole thing about women's rights, which, I understand women's rights, I think that has sort of circumvented the role of the Black man and the Black woman together. And they feel like, okay, I'm at this stature and I can do this, and and I just think, that's a part of our downfall. I think that we have to realize that the man is still the man. I mean, that's just, I think some of us are not understanding that, because we have been born and bred in this system that is teaching us all these different things about ways and means that men and women are supposed to interact. And like I said, the women's empowerment movement and all these kinds of things. And I think we lose sight of that interaction between the man and the woman. That's why I keep saying there's other ways to work this stuff out. If we would humble ourselves and say, okay, I know this brother said this about me, or he doesn't agree with me, or he feels this way. Humble ourselves and come to that man. Same thing with the brothers. Humble ourselves and come together and sit down and talk about it. That to me is the issue. That's the key. It's a lot of stubbornness going on. It's a lot of frustration going on, unwillingness to cooperate with each other that's going on. And again, it is our downfall. It's our downfall, because in my humble opinion, I don't think that over the long run that this flagging campaign is going to have the impact that the people that are leading this up want it to have. Because we're all interconnected. You still a Black man, you still a Black woman. How do you think you got Black? You came from a Black man and a Black woman. So why are you fighting against the very people that you came from, instead of sitting down to try to work this thing out? Put aside I talked enough.
No. I'm gonna come back. You're doing good. Whenever you come on, I like to just listen. I'm learning too. And one of the good things about doing a good interview is letting your guests talk. And that's one thing I want to teach everybody, that if you want to have a successful Google Hangout, if you want to have a successful online radio show, if you have a good guest like Rashida who can control or can carry on the conversation, ask your questions and let your guests speak, because that's how the show is good. I hear a lot of people, that do interviews, and they're always cutting off their guests, and they're always trying to, you know, chime in, and it makes it for a bad flow. So this is what we're doing here, and people are really congratulating you, Rashida, on the show that you're giving today.
Oh, thank you.
I really want to shout out to my moderators. Now, these dudes donate like damn near every day. I think these niggas rich. High Def, you gave $20, and Ray Clemens. You brothers, man, do so much for me as it is. And I mean, just moderating when you guys have a chance. I really cannot thank both of you brothers enough. You not only moderate on my channel, but you moderate on Angry Man's channel. Show that's Char Willie. That's how I got introduced to the three moderators that I have now. And I just cannot say them, and also Neutrina. I really cannot, you know, thank you enough for what you do when you guys come in here and do what you do, man. I mean, like y'all really support what we're trying to do. High Def. When I first started the Negro Manosphere, he was one of the first people that actually subscribed to the site. Was one of the first 25. He said, "Man, I'm really proud of what you're trying to do." And I think I'll never forget that. That was a few months ago. I still got that email. Sometimes I still go back and look at it, and I just really appreciate what the brothers been doing. You know. Period. I think the nigga is a millionaire on the low. But thank you anyway, Black Lion. Thank you. You know, all of what you guys are doing. And before we continue to go on to the show, what I've been trying to do with this channel, without me just ranting and going on my little raves and my videos, as you've been seeing, I've been bringing people on who are very bright to the channel doing hangouts that come from different walks of life. Y'all saw yesterday we had Aaron Clary. Aaron Clary gave one hell of a fucking interview yesterday. White guy wrote the Black Men's Guide to Poverty. The day before we had Steve Dean Williams, the Dayton coach. Tomorrow we got JR Wisdom. Thursday we're going to have Exonatos Clutch. And then I believe within the next week we're going to have some other people that's coming on. So we're trying to really bring people on to the platform that you can benefit from, that you can get a different experience from in the community. And then we will also have Al Grease on hopefully this week. Alan Roger Curry will be back this weekend. So once again, we're trying to mix it up for you. Rashida, I got to ask you a question because you've been making so many good points. I have my pen, and so when you say something, I actually write it down as a follow-up question. but before we go back to why you don't think the censorship is going to work, I really want to know, because you said the Black women, you know, they are under the pressure to be strong Black women.
Right.
What is a strong Black woman in your opinion?
A strong Black woman is I see it, a strong Black woman as a social construct that is the product of our history in America. Because obviously when we came from Africa on the slave ship, that's where this whole concept had to start from. I mean, the strongest of the strongest survived. You know, you had reports of women who had babies who were jumping over the ship and killing themselves because they didn't want to be enslaved. And then once we arrived here, you know, the abuse, the rape, the neglect that we had to undergo, all of those things contributed to this whole notion of the strong Black woman, to where we were not protected. So to me, the strong Black woman is a social construct that I feel has started in the United States, and it's followed us to the point where now we have to, sometimes you have to be so strong to where it pigeonholes you into not being able to show your weakness and your vulnerabilities. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's a part of what is going on with this flag. I think that these women some of these women don't want to just say, I'm hurt, Black man. I'm hurt by this. I'm hurt by you talking about me or saying these negative things. That hurts my feelings, because we have to project this attitude of strength. And I get it. I understand. I am a Black woman, but I'm also a very fragile Black woman. Understand that clearly. I'm saying this. I want everybody to know this. People that know me, they already know this. I'm a very sensitive Black woman. Little things a lot of things hurt my feelings. If you look at me and I feel like you're looking at me the wrong way and you don't think I'm cute, I might have my feelings hurt. And I admit to that. No problem. If you say, Rashida, you ain't seen me in a while, and you say, Rashida, oh, you done gained a little weight. That might hurt my feelings. But I also can look at myself and go, you know what? Maybe I have gained a little weight. I need to go do, cut some calories some more, get a little bit more cardio in there. I take that and use that as fuel to make myself better. You know what I'm saying? So this whole notion of the strong Black woman, we don't have to wear that. We can be vulnerable. And I think that vulnerability is something that would strengthen us in regards to how we interact with our men, instead of just taking this stance of, I'm going to fight you because I'm not at war. I'm not at war with no Black man, and I ain't in competition with no Black man. I'm just going to say that outright. I'm not competing with you. For what? That's insane. I'm not at war with you.
I want everybody to, while we're in the chat, I'm posting Rashida Strober's channel. I want you to click on her channel, subscribe, hit the bell for her, because she's a content creator. She doesn't do a lot of videos because she's busy doing, activism things. But once you hit the subscribe button on Rashida's channel, comment sub underneath. All right. So let's show some support, because she's coming on here, spending her time. She's doing something else. She came on last week. We gave away, well, not paid for them, but we gave away some books. So what we want to do here is support her. She's coming on here sharing her experience. For many people, this could be a hostile situation coming over to a Black YouTuber like mine who's controversial. She's doing it anyway. So let's go ahead and subscribe to her channel. Click the link and just comment, subscribe. That way I know that you sub to her channel, and we're supporting her and what she's doing. Thank you, KG Littlejohn. He's subscribed.
Thank you very much. Thank y'all. I appreciate that.
Continue to do this and subscribe to her channels like we do everybody who comes over. For example, we did the same thing with Aaron Clare yesterday. Same thing with Steve Dean Williams yesterday. So in order for us to keep bringing you guys, the greatest guests that I can find, let's try to go ahead and do that. All right. Killer Red, thanks, Oshay. Just subscribe to my dream wife.
Oh my God, thank you.
Gossip. Hold on, my big bro isn't here. Wait a minute. News you need to know. Hold on, man. I gotta subscribe to this. I gotta acknowledge this brother, man. One of the guys that had one of the biggest effects on my YouTube career is this guy, News You Need to Know. One of the first videos I ever heard was the Suit and Tie brother. Man, I cannot say enough about him. I got to get him on here. I owe him at least 4 or 5 hangouts, but I can never get a hold of him, just basically on email, and he be busy. But let me, man, hit me up on email, brother. I got to get you to do this. So let's go back to this alpha male wisdom, as we all know him. So shout out to that brother, one of the big talking heads in the Black manosphere. Rashida.
Yes.
You talked about censorship. You don't think it's going to work. Well, what I need to know is, what are your reasons do you think censoring Black men will not work, in your opinion?
Absolutely. Just going back to history and looking at my background in political movements and historical movements. If you examine movements throughout history where people have had grievances and they wanted to be heard, eventually, there's this song and dance with where they've been silenced, they've been shut down, all types of things have taken place in regard, even going back to the Sierra Leone War, the Civil War, where the government tried to shut these people down. We see that happen all the time in history. Just look at historical developments, look at different movements. And some of these people have died for it. You can even look at Martin Luther King as an example. Some of these people have died because they said, I'm going to find a way to keep coming back if that's what they really want to do. Now, if their heart and soul is in it, trust and believe, history proves this beyond the shadow of a doubt, that these people will figure out a way to come back. And we have to look at, like I said, history has good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, let me give you an example. Margaret Sanger. A lot of people don't like Margaret Sanger. I mean, she's basically the founder of the Planned Parenthood. People need to realize that this woman had a lot of opposition, and I do not agree with her. Let me just say that. I don't want anybody coming on here thinking that I'm agreeing with, getting rid of our babies and all the stuff that is taking place. But the point that I'm making, I'm looking at it from purely a historical perspective of a person that had a vision, and they said, this is what I want done. And no matter what happened, they just kept going until they achieved the objective. Again, I gave you the example of Martin Luther King. The different revolutions around the world, the Iranian Revolution. You have the Soviet Union. We could go on and on. I'm taking my examples from history. You understand what I'm saying? The revolutions that have taken place in Latin America. Look at Haiti, for example.
That was a really good one.
We could literally go on and on and on. Someone's calling me on Facebook right now. I'm sorry, I'm in an interview. But we can literally go on and on and on. I'm gonna get back to you, sister, about these people who have just kept coming back because it's what they believed in. There was nothing in the world aside from death that was going to stop these people. So while you could, I'm not in a battle with black men, but I'm just saying, some of these people see it as a battle or a war. You could win the battle, but I don't think you're gonna win the war, because history has proven that people that really want to get their views out there and accomplish their objectives, they're just gonna find another way to do it. So it would behoove you to sit down and try to talk it out, to be diplomatic. That's what the United States, that's what governments around the world, that's what they do. Rather than going to full-blown war, they do try to be diplomatic. They try to sit down and have talks with these different leaders, try to hash something out, work things out. I hate to even say this in the context of black men and black women. It's just crazy to even say this because, like I said, I myself am not at war with no black men. I don't want my daughter growing up thinking that, oh, you're supposed to have a war with a black man. What? That's how you got here. You got on earth because I made love to a black man, not war. That's how you got on earth.
Well, let me ask you this, because you made this statement more than once. It's a very interesting talking point. You keep reiterating the idea that I am not at war with black men. I am not competing with black men. I keep hearing you say that. So my question is going to be one word: why? Why are you not in competition with black men?
There's no need to. I'm trying to come together with black men. I'm supposed to be with a black man. That's what I mean, to me, the notion is just absolutely ridiculous and insane. It doesn't make any sense. And I feel that the things that we see going on in terms of the flagging campaign, in terms of the black men who have, made disparaging comments against black women, and the back and forth, some people, they see it as war. They see it as a battle. They see it as a fight. But I personally am not here to fight and war with a black man. I am here to tell you, this is how I feel. How do you feel? Let's work it out. Let's reconcile. That's always been at the heart of dark skin activism. That's very important. It's never been about warring and fighting, because think about it. Let's go back to Africa. Let's go back, or any country. It could be, I don't care if it's India or Asia. There's always infighting. There is always infighting among. Just think about your family. The brothers and sisters in a family don't always get along. Within any group, there's always infighting. Does that mean that you have to war with the person? go to war? No, you don't have to do that. You sit down and you figure out, okay, what's your grievance? Here's my grievance. Okay, this is what we're going to do about it. There's a concept going back to Africa. There was stateless societies in Africa prior to Europeans coming in. There was something called stateless societies. You could do the research yourself. You don't have to believe me. And it basically was that everybody in the village, they came together and they decided. There was no one person making the decision. Everybody decided. So that's how I know that it can be done. Our history gives us an example of that. Stateless societies in Africa. So, and everybody has something to contribute. Everybody is important. So with that being said, there is no need for me to go to war or go to battle or compete with Black men. And I understand why some of it's happening, because again, going back to our situation in America, it has created a situation where a lot of times Black women can get things done or get access to things faster than Black men. That is true. Even with my own ex-husband, I remember one time before we got married, he was at the wash house and he was there, and I came to the wash house, he washing his clothes. And he was like, oh my God, I can't get my change. I've been calling this phone number and they won't refund my money and my clothes is stuck. And I was like, well, where's the phone number? I get on the phone and I call and I'm like, we got a situation with I can't get my money back, da 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 da. The man came down there straight away and gave me back my money. Go figure. There's other situations that have happened involving me and a Black man where the same thing. They were saying one thing, the same thing I was saying, but because I said it and came in, we were able to get things moving along faster. Mm-hmm. I've seen this. So it's like, why can't the Black man is in a sense marginalized? The Black man's voice has been silenced. People don't want to listen to Black men sometimes. People have stereotypes of Black men and how they may look, how they may act. My ex-husband is very tall, slender, super dark skin, natural kinky hair. He has a PhD, but who knows this? Because he's walking around every day in some jeans. But because you have this stereotype of what a Black man is and how they act, you don't want to do X, Y, Z. So sometimes, I was able to do certain, so, it's all about working together and not feeling like I'm here to compete with you or battle with you or war with you. I'm not here for that. I'm here to be your helpmate and work with you, because that's what we're supposed to do. Like, that's common sense to me. That's how I see it.
Very good response. I'm going to ask you another question here, but before I do that, shout out to everybody that's in the chat. We have 152 people, or 55 watching. I just seen King Richards come in. Shout out to him.
Hey,
James Nash still there. I need you brothers to do me a favor. If you're just coming, our brothers and sisters, whoever you are, please come in and like the video. And the reason why we ask you to do that is because YouTube promotes the video as we are doing. This is a very, very awesome stream. And once again, we want to be able to promote this. So please, let's go ahead and like the video and support the video if you're just coming in. Thank you so much. I see 104 likes up on the video. 106. All right, let's keep going. Thank you, Big V. He subbed to your channel.
Thank you.
Let's continue to get the subs up on the channel for Rashida Strober here. Keep getting the likes up, and we're going to continue the interview because she is dropping knowledge today. I'm just hella quiet. So, thank you. 110, 112, 148. Let's keep the likes coming up. Thank you. I really appreciate all of you supporting the stream. Rashida, let me ask you this. You did answer why you feel that you don't need to compete with Black men. And it was a very good response. But I really want to know, why do you feel many other Black women feel that they need to compete with Black men? I know why you don't feel that you don't, but why do you feel maybe other Black women think that they need to?
I think it's been socially constructed. I think because of this whole women's rights movement. I think Black women, we've been caught up in the midst of all of that. And I'm not saying that the women's rights movement is a bad thing, but I think sometimes we lose sight of what we need to be doing as women in terms of a man-woman relationship. And because Black women, again, have been given, in my opinion, a lot, it's a disparity in terms of the opportunities in comparison to Black men and Black women that we have been given. I think that has put us in a position to feel like, okay, I make this amount of money. I work for this corporation. I have this title, to where some of us, not all of us, have not understood that we have to still humble ourselves, and we have to remember our relationship as women in terms of man-woman, the man-woman relationship. That, you know, it's not all about your job title. It's not all about how much money you make. It's not all about the car that you drive. How are you as a woman? You're still a woman. Ain't I a woman? That's what Sojourner Truth, I believe. We're still women. And so I think that that's where the competition part comes in, to sometimes where you have these women, they're in these high positions of power, and they take that from the boardroom to the bedroom, if you will, you know what I'm saying? Or to the living room, or to the kitchen, or wherever, to the house. They take that, and they don't understand and recognize their role as women. And like I said, I'm all for women empowering themselves. I'm all for women getting education. I'm all for women being in high positions, but it's just that balance there that I think is missing with some of us, that we're not understanding, that we're losing sight of our place as women. And then some women, as they get older, they start to see that. They start, because I've even, let me tell you, I've even heard some women say that they wish they had a focus more on developing a relationship rather than pursuing a career or pursuing their education. They wish they would have struck a balance between the career goals, the educational goals, and the goals of marriage. You know, and some of these women in their older age, because they didn't put time and energy into that, they find themselves alone. And I don't like seeing Black women alone. These are my views. Some of y'all might disagree. I personally don't want to see a Black woman alone. I think that she should be married or, you know, in a relationship, because this is what I have personally seen in my own family. My mother may not have the best relationship with her, but she has been with her husband for close to 40 years. And they've had ups and downs, ebbs and flows, all of that. But they love each other. They still together. I have brothers who have been married for 15, 20 years. Let's see. I have my grandmother. Give you an example. My grandmother was 95 years old. 95 years old when she passed away. My grandmother had a boyfriend up until that time. And there were people in my family that were mad. They were like, why do you have a boy? Why not? That's probably one of the reasons why she was a very career-oriented woman. She raised kids. She was married, but I mean, that was her thing. To her, having a relationship was important. She had a boyfriend. That's, like I said, that's probably what kept her alive for so long, because she understood. And that's one of the things I want to say about disagreeing with someone. My grandmother, God bless the dead, she did not like me because of my dark skin. She would make disparaging, I mean, God bless the dead. It was what it is what it is. But here's an example of me being able to see the good side of a person, even though I may not agree with them. What I learned from her is that the relationship between a man and a woman is very important. It's vital to life. There's even studies that prove that people that have a good sex life, they live longer. Yeah, there's studies out there. So the thing, my grandmother, I'm going back to her. She gave me an example of that, a real life example of the fact that, oh man, may I just quickly say I gotta say shout out to this person. I'm just getting a message from her. Thank you, Dorothy. I love you so much. This woman is a beautiful Black woman that has been supporting my campaign. I love you so much. This man, thank you. I'm not gonna tear up on here. But my grandmother, I just want to say that real quick. I just got a message from her. I just saw it pop up on my screen. But my grandmother showed me that example of the Black man and the Black woman surviving throughout time. And I'm like, whoa, even against all this opposition. And she raised my brother. My brother, he's so humble and so wonderful and so brilliant. He has his own story. One of these days, hopefully he'll connect with you. Anyway, she raised my brother, took care of him, and he became this wonderful man. He has his PhD, and he's just an excellent human being. Married to a Black woman for about, I think they've been married for about almost 20 years now. He left her alone. He wouldn't bother her. Let grandma do what she got to do, because he understood the vitality in that. And so I think that these are the things. This is what I want to focus on with the Black man and Black. I don't want to be. That's why I said I'm not fighting, warring. I'm not at war with you. I'm not in competition with you. It's about love and reconciliation. That's how I see it. I know I just said a mouthful there because I'll be talking. I like to talk. But yeah, I hope I answered your question.
No, you did. You answered the question. You answered the question very, very well. Let me check this out here, because I think maybe Poker Zaddy should be back on the chat. I think he's accidentally removed. Poker, if you're in there, let me know, because if you're not, I don't know how. Anybody know how to unblock somebody from YouTube live chat? Let me know, because I'm trying to figure this shit out and I can't. But I'll figure it out before he's always supporting the channel too, so trying to get him back on here. While we're doing that, you talked about one question. Before we do that, y'all like the video, first of all, before we get into the damn thing. Like the video. Hold on a second. GoChocolateHoodShow.com. Hold on, nigga. This is not for you to be out here. You know what, nigga? I'll put you in timeout. I hate niggas trying to come in here. Oh, Poker's 95, I found out. Okay, thanks. Like the video if you're in the chat. And I appreciate you if you're doing that. Frankie, what you can do, if you're on the Android phone, you can hit the star, or sorry, the super chat button. If you want to do that and to donate to the super chat, you can hit the, if you have an Android phone, you can hit the $ in the super chat. If you want to donate to the podcast, you can also go to the PayPal link. Hold on a second. Poker's that he was just timed out by Char. Y'all just brought him back. Y'all just put him back. What the hell? Okay, hold on a second. Man, y'all niggas is trigger happy in the chat. Let me go back to the interview real quick. And you mentioned that there are types of opportunities that are given for Black women that are not given for Black men. Let me answer that if I can. Or ask that if you know what type of opportunities that Black women have that Black men don't have, in your opinion.
Well, I just think what I'm saying is I think it's a little bit easy. It can be easier for Black women sometimes than Black men, simply because, I mean, you're a woman and people are more comfortable with you, and the darker the skin tone, the dark skin comes into play as well. So if you're a dark skinned man, you might have it a little bit harder in terms of people feeling comfortable on jobs, educationally. Again, going to the colorism, darkism, scholarly literature, these things have been proven. So for example, there was a study done by, I can't remember the name of the university, but there was a study that proved that darker skinned defendants got the death penalty at higher rates than, for example, lighter skinned defendants. Also, there's studies that show that dark skinned males earn less money than light skinned males. These studies are here, people. It's out here, trust me. So when we compare that to the fact that the darker skin tone a man has, when we compare they're comparing them to non-dark skinned men and their economic and political and educational and social position, you compare that to a female, and you know, there's the opportunities are just there more for the female sometimes because of all these negative stereotypes that go along with being a Black male in society. So I gave the example, I talked about my ex-husband in the laundromat. He had been there for a long time trying to get this man to come out, and the sign said that if you have a problem and you lose your money, just call this number and we'll come out and refund you. But they didn't come out and refund until I called. So that's just, you know, one example of many. You know, it's just so many things. Even with my son, I tell him, he's a Black man, a young Black man coming up in the world, and I tell him, hey, you got to make sure you keep your record clean. He doesn't have a criminal record. You got to keep your record clean. You gotta get your education, because, for example, with a criminal record, it's harder, I argue, for a Black man to come back from having a criminal record than it is for a Black woman, because people see women as more, you know, they're women. So these notions of femininity and these notions of a woman will not do X, Y, Z. You know, the man is stronger than a woman, and so, you know, on a job, a woman might be more likely to be hired or have her criminal record looked over than a Black man who has a criminal record, especially if it's involving violence or something like that. And just everyday interactions. Like I said, you know, going into stores, you might, I've been in situations where I've been able to get service faster when I asked for it than, for example, the man that I was dealing with. So it's so many different things that we could point to in everyday life situations, just living, you know, that women will have the upper hand. And that's why you see the employment rate. Black males are always at the bottom when we talk about the employment rate of Black people overall, because they get the opportunities last, as opposed to, you know, a Black female. A Black female can go out there and get a job. And, you know, because people are not less intimidated. Sometimes they are intimidated by you if you are a dark-skinned woman, but they're less intimidated in comparison to a man. So it's harder for Black men.
It's very true. It's definitely harder for the brothers than it is for Black women. And I just want to ask you this question, because you talk about women's rights and you understand, you know, the idea behind it. Do you think overall feminism has helped Black women?
Let me be real honest with you. I have not even, to be honest with you, I am so caught up in my mission of bringing Black men and Black women back together that I have not even entertained notions of feminism at all, because that's not even a part of, see, and I really want people that's watching this to clearly understand this about me. At the heart of what I do is to bring Black men and Black women together. That is central to what I do. I love everybody. I don't have no hate against anybody. But I see the problem with the Black man, and it's always irritated and agitated me where I see this happening in our community. I was in Tucson, Arizona about 2 weeks ago, and the Black women did tell me, they said, Black men don't want us. They told me this. And when I hear, this is not the first time, I hear women who want to be in a relationship with a Black, I am a woman that wants to be in a relationship with a Black man. So all the other stuff, I gotta be honest with you, I have tuned it out and I have put my focus laser sharp on my mission. So I'm not even in it, and maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe it's not good that I haven't focused on notions of feminism and ideals of feminism. I just haven't. I'm just not there. I am so focused on, and I'm thinking about my kids. I have a daughter. I'm always thinking about Lauren and the situation. What's the situation going to be like for her when she grows up and it's time for her to date and get married? I'm thinking about my son. What is the situation going to be? These thoughts fill my mind to the point where I don't focus on anything else, because that's this life of dark skin activism, this life of really working to bring Black men and women back together is what is important to me. I just met with a fan last week. He bought my book. Shout out to you, Les. And he told me, when I hear stories like this, he told me, he said, Rashida, because of you, I went back to my dark-skinned wife. I kid you not, this man told me this. I had a 3-hour conversation with him. He told me this. And Les, if you ever watch this, you already know. He told me this, because I wouldn't say it if it ain't true. I don't tell nobody nothing that ain't true. And so he ain't the first one that has told me this. He's not the first one. So to me, that's all I see. That's what I'm looking for. That's my ultimate aim and reach. All that other stuff, it doesn't matter in my world. I respect it. Hey, but people must respect, this is the mission that I'm on, and this is what I'm focused on. So I really, honestly, I can't answer that question. The only way I can answer that question is the way that I just answered it.
It was a good response. Let me do this real quick before I ask you something else here. Brothers, the Negro Manosphere Facebook page, we had got it up to almost 60,000 likes, and then unfortunately it was shut down last week. So I'm going to bring you back a little slower this time, but I do need your help. I see Professor Mark Keller's in the building. Shout out to him. I see Lavelle Robinson. I need you brothers to go ahead and click on the link I just posted in the chat. Hit the like on the Negro Manosphere, because we need up to 25 likes. Select a username. That page is going to be active probably within the next month. So I'm just trying to slowly build it up with people who already are subscribed to us. So again, I'm posting the link in the description. I need everybody that's watching this video. I have 156 people watching right now. Go into the comment section, click on the Negro Manosphere, go up and hit like. Okay, so if you have a Facebook profile, let's go ahead and do it, because we're going to get the page back cracking, get the page back jumping again. We're going to do some good contests on the Negro Manosphere, some good giveaways, stuff like that. So go ahead. For those of you, if you don't do Facebook, I understand. This is for those of you who do Facebook. Thank you also, Goddess, for your like. And I just need some brothers to keep coming on here, clicking on the Negro Manosphere. We were sharing videos of other YouTubers and everything like that. So once again, if you're on Facebook, hit the Negro Manosphere, go to the Facebook, like the page, like the fan page, because we're going to be building up a great fan page and linking it up to the site. So that way, if you miss an article on the site, you can just go to the fan page to be there. Rashida,
yes,
you have a book, and you did just mention that. Thank you, Mark Keller. We gave 2 copies away last week.
Yes.
Of the book, right? And shout outs to those of you who had the book. Let's talk about your book.
Absolutely.
What are the titles? And let's promote that all day if we can.
Thank you. This book here, I got it right here with me, y'all. I'm always ready. A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge is a book about reconciliation between Black men and Black women. The play A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge is this book is based on the actual play. I wrote the play back in 2006 and have since then, it's a part of dark skin activism. Right now I'm on the dark skin activist tour, and the first stop was Tucson, Arizona. I'm going to be at the DC Black Theater Festival presenting the play version of A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge. This book is absolute fire. It's groundbreaking work. I recommend that everybody read this book, because you're going to begin to understand really what it is that this whole dark skin activism thing is about. And then I also have written, this book right here is my baby. This book is near and dear to my heart because it's my experiences. And I realize it's also the experiences of millions of other dark-skinned people around the world. It's called DARKISM. We'll put it up to the thing here. DARKISM, 25 ways dark-skinned people are discriminated against. And it's giving you, going back to this whole idea of censorship, it's giving you the no holds barred. I ain't holding back in this book. I'm telling you straight up exactly what it is, how darkism impacts dark-skinned people, and exactly what has happened to me in my life. And so I feel that everybody should read this book. I've also, these 2 books right here, I have available. If you order these books, they're $25 a piece. And shout out to Dorothy, because she just ordered 3 copies. Thank you. This lady has actually ordered, actually she probably ordered about a good close to 5, 6 copies of the book, because what she does is she gives them to people as gifts. So thank you very much for that. I also have other books that I've written as well. I give away a free book on my website, thedarkskinactivist.com. It's called How to Be the Hottest Dark Skinned Chick on the Planet. It's an ebook version though. And I've been giving that book away for the longest because it's a motivational book for anybody, that dark skinned person, anybody really who wants to improve themselves. So, but it's actually the first motivational book written for dark skinned women specifically. What else? I have a Dark Skinned Girls Triumph. That is actually on YouTube. Anybody can go listen to that. But if you want to really support, get the paperback version of these books, because it goes towards the Dark Skin Activist Tour. And I've been putting in this work for the longest. I'm working on my 5th book now, Inventing Dark Skin Activism. Oh man, I can't wait till that one comes out. But these are the books that I currently have available right now. So yeah.
Okay, and so because last week we gave away 2, and I want to know how, and I'm pretty sure it's a well-written book, speaking from you. And so basically, how can people get this if they want to say, I really listened to what Rashida said today. I'd like to support her. I'd like to order her book. How can they order the book? And I'll put that in the description. What's the website?
Thank you. There's 2 ways that they can do it. I'm actually going to get the link. They can go to, I have a link, a direct PayPal link that they can go and purchase. The books are $25 each.
Okay.
And I'm going to find the link here and post it as soon as I get it here. It's on my Facebook page, because I was trying to make it, people have been wanting to buy the book, and I try to make it easy for them to get it so they don't have to go through too many motions.
Right.
There is a PayPal link that they can go to. And I will be posting it in the description box in 1 second. And that'll take them directly to where they can purchase the book from, A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge, or Darkism, 25 Ways Dark Skinned People Are Discriminated Against. And I just put it in the chat box there. I hope you can see it.
Okay, let me see. It is a chat box to me in the Hangouts?
Yeah. It's the chat box just to you, because I don't see the comments from the people that are watching.
Okay, let me go ahead and look at the Hangout page here. And
I will probably email it to you as well. I'll email it to you right now, so that way you can see it.
I think I see it here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I see it. All right. So if you want the books, you can, I'll put the PayPal link here. That's our PayPal. And last week we were able to, get 2 of those, and those were shipped out. I want you, if basically what she's doing is a very unique topic. I want you brothers to go ahead. I know we had Aaron Clary last night. He had an ebook. She has a free ebook for you brothers who want to do that. If you want to support it and get an autographed copy. Great.
Yes.
Okay. What you brothers need to do is, you have our PayPal link. I'll put all our information in the description, so that you can basically do that. Also, I need 13 more people, okay, to go and like the Negro Manosphere fan page. See y'all over here tripping. I need you to go into the description, not the description, but in the chat box right now. Click the Negro Manosphere Facebook link and like the page. I got 136 watching. I just need 13 of y'all to do it. So thank you for those of you who did do it. Now for the rest of us, we can go ahead and get everything set up for you on the fan page. Help a player out. I got only 12. Y'all niggas are stingy. So go ahead and do that. Click that link and do everything. So Rashida, you got a lot of people from our page today. I'm pretty sure they subscribe to you on YouTube. I'm gonna go ahead and promote your YouTube channel again, because these dudes they want to help me out with other stuff. Brothers, they don't like Facebook. It's something about Black men do not like Facebook that watch YouTube. I noticed that. A lot of brothers do not like Facebook.
They don't like Facebook? Wow.
Not a lot of brothers don't like Facebook. But on YouTube, I just now posted Rashida's channel, okay? So that you can go there, keep subbing to her. Click the link, say sub in the comment section. Rashida, is there anything else that you'd like to say, and when can we get you back again?
Yes. Well, I just want to say I appreciate the dialogue that we're having, because this whole dialogue is really the whole objective. I'm doing exactly what I want to do and what I feel that needs to be done in terms of reconciliation and repairing the relationship between the Black man and the Black woman. That is what is the most important to me. So I want to just say thank you for allowing me to come onto your platform and just talk and speak and be honest and open and truthful. And that's what it's all about. That's just really what it's all about. And for people that's in DC, and sometime in June, I'm going to be in DC. Sometime in June, I got to get the information from the DC Black Theater Festival in regards to the theatrical venue where we're going to be at, because it's called the DC Black Theater Festival. And so I have a one-woman show called The Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge, and I'm going to be performing there. So if you're in the DC area, you better come out and see me. But the most important thing is the dialogue here, and that's the key. That is the absolute key. So thank you.
Also, I saw that you're on the Advice show last month talking about the topic. At least he did a story on you about skin bleaching. I want to know if you can come back next week and we can have a whole show on skin bleaching.
Absolutely, I would be glad to. I would be glad. Of course.
Because last week, the brothers donated and we gave away 2 books. Now this week, I want y'all to buy one. Next week, I promise we're gonna give away at least one. So I'll buy one for next week. When we come back on, we give away at least one book to Rashida Stroder. A lot of y'all just thirsty over her anyway. So y'all gonna show up. But y'all been, on the comments, I want to marry.
Oh my God.
By buying her book, that's one way you can start. Next week, for those of you that come, I will do a little bit of a raffle, give away 1 book. And we're gonna have a great conversation on skin bleaching. So once again, all of you, now here's my time to collect emails. All right, I've been promoting like crazy on multiple different things. If you are not subscribed to the Negro Manosphere, what the hell are you waiting for? All right. Now you need to be subscribed to the Negro Manosphere. Okay. So if you know that you're not subscribed, you're not getting emails from us, drop your email right now in the comment section. I don't know if Supreme Hunter, I don't know if you're subscribed, Alex, I don't know, Dr. D, I don't know. Thank you so much, Oshay. But great show next week. Thank you, Ray Clemens. Thank you, Char Willie. Drop your emails if you're in the chat to get subscribed to the Negro Manosphere. We want you to be subscribed. We have the best website in the world, the best blog in the world for Black men, specifically for Black men. So drop your email. Also, before you go, Rashida, I had a question from King Riches. He wanted to know how you felt about interracial relationships.
Okay, I feel that the Black community, I'm gonna try to be as real brief and straightforward to the point as possible. The Black community is already in dire straits. We need to rebuild our community. And so what that means is basically we need as many Black men and Black women staying together. Now, me saying this does not equate to, hating people or disliking non-Black. That's not what this is about. Again, it's a situation to where people are always talking about economic development and building up the Black community. One of the ways you build the Black community is to build a Black family. And how do you build a Black family? You date and you marry a Black man or a Black woman. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think there's a stigma on that. In fact, I remember seeing people, I would walk around with my ex-husband and they'll be like looking at us funny once they find out that me and him are married. I've had people say, is that your brother? They're shocked because we both dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's like those things those things are important. People might look at that and say, well, that's, you know, what are you talking about? But these things are important when we talk about dating and marriage and keeping our community strong. So I'm just saying, you know, you got Black women out here, young Black women that's coming up, older Black women, and middle-aged Black women, same thing with the Black men. We need each other if we're going to continue to make our community strong and build. And I'm saying, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with us saying we're going to stay together, we're going to love each other, we're going to raise our kids, we're going to be productive, we're going to go through whatever we got to go through and make it work? What's wrong with that? Right. What's wrong with that's my challenge to y'all. I would love to just talk specifically about the whole issue of marriage outside of race and why it's important for Black men and women to date and marry each other. I would love to just spend a whole show speaking about that.
You know, and we can also spin that for definitely a link. There's a brother that just commented, C. Taylor. He said he's from Hiram Johnson High School. I know all about Hiram Johnson. I went to Grant High School. So he just shout out to you, brother, from Sacramento, my home city. And Rashida, let me ask you this. Now, since you've been coming on some second time here on the show, how is this different? Because I know you did an interview with Sotomayor. How was this interview, or the interview you've done here, how is it different from his platform when you did one?
Well, everybody has their own style. I respect different styles. I can adapt to different styles because for me, it's all about the message and in a constructive dialogue for people to understand both sides of the issue. I feel that your platform you've been fair to me. You have listened, like you said, you're asking me questions and allowing me to completely speak and complete my thought. It's been a very pleasant experience. I don't have anything bad to say. Like it's again, it goes back to exactly what I've been trying to do for the longest, is to create a dialogue, and that's exactly what we're having. So yeah.
Do you feel like maybe some Black men's, you know, like I didn't watch the Sotomayor interview, and to be fair, I mean he has a pretty good radio setup from what I can understand. Isn't that the fact that if you go to certain people's, you know, like interviews, because you said that most Black women don't want to have a dialogue, is it because that some people cut you off or they don't let you say what you need to say? Do you think that may be impending on why the dialogue between Black women and Black men can't happen?
Right. I definitely think that's a part of it. I definitely think that's a huge part of it, because it goes back to this maturity thing and this getting rid of the stubbornness thing, to the point where if you don't agree with someone, still be willing to let the person speak their piece. And it works both ways. Let the people decide. I mean, it's almost like a court case, you know, where you go, you have the judge or the jury there, and you have the defense and the prosecution, and both sides are presenting their side of the argument. And then the judge decides. Same thing with YouTube. Let the people decide. Let the people come in on the comments, say what they got to say, make videos. And I feel this is how we get to solutions. So, you know, that's what I think it's all about. I think, you know, if we're both able to do that, and sometimes you do need a moderator, because I have done interviews where, shout out to the brother Dennis Nelson. He was one of the moderators for a live hangout that I did with a brother from the UK that did not agree with me. He did not, but he moderated it. We talked, people listened. Some people was on his side, some people was on my side. That's what this is all about for me. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I never thought about that. That maybe because, you know, sometimes the dialogue is because, you know, when I hope people can see this about, you know, my show. I don't know how other people do their show. I know Obsidian has a radio show. I know Tommy has one. I know several people have one where they invite people to discuss dialogue. I know when I have a guest that comes on my show, it's important for me to let them say what they need to say. And I want to encourage, you know, people that maybe had disagreed with me. Some people probably ain't gonna never show up on my show, and I don't want them to come. But the thing is that, you know, we can allow people to talk, ask questions, and see how they get to where they are. And every interview doesn't have to be a debate. I think what I personally say on my personal YouTube channel when I'm the only one producing the content, that's how I feel. People know how I feel. I mean, you know, if you listen to my videos, I'm very consistent on how I feel. But when you have a guest that may have a different opinion, let your guest talk. I'm just telling you right now, the future of YouTube, for the YouTubers out there who are listening, is YouTube Live. That's what YouTube wants. YouTube wants Hangouts. YouTube wants live streams. Okay, that's what they want. That's the direction they're going to go. If you cannot conduct interviews and do stuff like that, it's going to be hard for you. So I'm giving you a bone as a YouTuber. This is the direction that YouTube wants. YouTube wants to take, Blog Talk Radio out. YouTube wants to take all kind of other people out. They want you to be able to have the ability to do live stream videos. They want to take away Facebook Live. They want, YouTube is trying to push this direction. So it's good to be able to have the content that you can have. People have a long watch time and stuff. This is what they're going after. So don't tell you I didn't say it. Okay, I'm just telling you this is how you do it. All right. Well, anyways, Rashida, any last words to the crew before we close out here?
Absolutely. I just want to say I love y'all, and I just want to say thank y'all for tuning in and taking the time to listen to what I have to say. That's the biggest thing. I got to go back to that dialogue. Thank you for listening. Thank you. And I hope you learned something, even if you don't agree with me. I hope you take something away that's thought-provoking that you can expound upon. So thank you.
Okay. So again, Rashida, thank you so much. Thank you for taking your particular time out. I got out of class not too long ago, and I was waiting to do the interview, and so I thank you because I know you're a busy person. You're doing things. This guy another state not so long ago, so we can come back around at the same time next week. I'll schedule it, and once again, this time around. Continue to order the books, and then I'll promise the next time we're going to at least give away one. So you want to make sure that you hear next week. You might get a book. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rashid, and I'll see you next week. Peace.